What's up, Guiding Bolt fans? This is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at a really cool product from 1985 games. This is called Dungeon Craft, and what it is a large assortment of map pieces that you can use with your campaign. You can see that there's over 1,000 plus map pieces here, and this is volume 1, so there's going to be additional volumes that come out, kind of with different themes. And if we flip this over to the back, you can get an idea of what's inside this box. So there's some examples here, as well as a little breakdown that tells you the types of tiles that's included in this set. So this specific one has forest cards or tiles, traps, bridges, rivers, dungeons, dragons, towns, and much more. So we're going to go ahead and open up the box, and I'm not going to go through each tile individually, but I just want to give you an idea of what's in here. That way you can decide for yourselves if this is something that you want to pick up and use in your campaigns or not. Now, I personally am really excited about this product because if you're anything like me, I don't have an artistic bone in my body. And I can barely color inside the lines, let's just say that. Otherwise, a one-year-old probably has better drawings than I do. So I'm really hoping that this fills the gap for me. And my players really like to have stuff to visualize. If you've seen any of my other videos where I have the mat out, I have some. I usually have some drawings on there, and you can see that it's pretty lackluster. So that's why I'm really excited about this product. So anyways, let's go ahead and flip it open. First thing you're going to see here is a little how to use the product. You're going to want to make sure that you cut them out on the dotted lines, not the solid lines, so you don't ruin any of your pieces. I also want to mention that when I purchased this, I was under the understanding that it was going to come in a spiral-bound book, and I wasn't excited about that, because I didn't want to deal with the spiral-bound notebook and also cutting out the pieces. So when I got this, I was really excited to see that it was just a box that already had all the pieces individually in it. I'm not sad that it didn't come in a notebook form. So kind of excited about that. As far as cutting out the pieces, there is going to be a lot of work to do there. I haven't decided which way I'm going to do this yet. If I should just, as I need the pieces, cut them out, if I should try to bribe my kids into doing it for me, or if I should send some pieces home with my players and try to get them to cut them out. So I'm still on the fence about that. I understand why they did it that way, to keep the cost down. I only paid $30 for this set, and for what's in here, that is just a steal of a deal, so I'm not going to complain. It is what it is, right? So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the tiles here. There are a lot of these big tiles. So I really like these because there's no cutting involved, and you can see here this is just the top-down view. So as before the players, kind of discover it, you got it like sitting like this, and then as they go into the building, you just kind of flip it over. So this one here looks to be a chapel or a church of some sort. There's some benches, a little altar, and a raised dais there. So that's kind of cool. And there's a decent number of these large tiles. And again, I really like those. We'll take a look at some of those individually just because they're kind of cool. This looks just to be somebody's house probably. I think this one is a tavern. Yeah, this is the tavern. So if you're just starting out your campaign and you're going to have your PCs meet in the tavern, you could just use this tile right here. That way, if a bar fight or something like that breaks out, you got some couple of stools there to bust over people's heads. There's a bunch of barrels in the background, fireplace it looks like, so that's pretty cool. This looks like another building. This looks to be just a oh, here we go. This is, as you can see here, every one of these is reversible too. So these large tiles, this is just a big empty room. Looks like it's got a little hole in the floor there. It's either a chimney going up or down. If you flip it over to the other side, there's kind of a looks like the inside of a just another room or a house or something like that. Here is our first tile that actually has some pieces to cut out on it. If I can get it out of there. So you can see that there's some looks like crates and barrels. There's another different sized house on here. On the flip side, looks like the barrels are on fire, so that's kind of cool. This one's got some, looks like gargoyles on it, some ballistas. Flip it around, that's again the top side. Let's skip by a few of these. There's a lot of these are like houses and stuff like that, and kind of rooms, I guess. This one's got some horses on it. This one's a cool one. I saw this one on the when I was deciding on whether or not I was going to get this or not. So here's a little ship. You can see this is the top side view. Got some ballistas on there, and then if you flip it over, you got the inside view. So it goes down a level into the ship. So that's pretty cool. I could definitely use that in some campaigns. So there's kind of that's kind of the first section, is the buildings and houses and stuff like that. And then we get into kind of the I guess the scenery is what I would call this. So we have some trees here. This looks like a just a big void or a pit. You can see that there's a looks like a sand pit on the other side, a little lake and some logs. Got some lava tunnels here. More trees. This is there's a large collection of trees there, and then when you flip it over, this is it's fall. So that's kind of cool. So we'll skip by a large section of these again and get into the next kind of part. The next area I think is kind of a more dungeon-y type tiles. At least that's what I got the impression of anyways. Here we go. So here's kind of the next section. You can see this is a, looks like just a, I don't even know what kind of room this would be. Got a massive statue of some sort of demon or devil, other smaller statues along the perimeter. So that's kind of cool. Just an empty room on the other side. What I would like to see is if any of you have ever played the Dungeons & Dragons miniature game, before it was just WizKids putting out miniatures, there was actually a game tied to it. And you would get these little, so you'd have a map, you know, kind of like this, just a big tile in the background. It was a piece of paper that you would unfold and lay down. And then what you would do, see if there's any, here we go. You would have these little tiles like this here, about this size. They were maybe a little bit smaller. I don't remember anymore. But what they would have is different terrains on them. So you'd have like difficult terrain. One would be like a smoky room, so the visibility in it was basically 0. They would have different buffs or debuffs in them. And then what you would do is you would fight on this grid, and you would go into the different rooms to try to lure your opponents in there so you could get different bonuses and get them to have different negative effects. And I think that'd be really cool if they would do something like that with one of the other volumes to come out. Oh, this is cool. That's a nice double-sided one. So yeah, that would be something to look forward to. I'd be really excited if they would do something like that. I wish I still had all my old tiles. I ended up, when I sold off my miniatures, I got rid of all my dungeon tiles as well, and I really miss having those. Would have been super convenient for playing with D&D. Anyways, let's keep flipping through here. We'll get down to kind of the next section. The next section is towards the end here. There's a bunch of monsters that you can use. So if you don't have a large collection of miniatures to use and you still want to have something for the players to kind of look at, this is a nice option for you. You can see that there's some wolves on here, some skeletons, looks like some orcs or goblins, and there's a good number of sheets with these guys on them. It's going to be a lot of cutting, but it's totally worth it. So that is there's a dragon right there. That's pretty cool, right? Looks like we got some werewolves and lizard folk. So lots of value in this box, that's for sure. I mean, the artwork is really good too. So again, really looking forward to using these. Great value for 30 bucks. Super excited about this. So that is the review in a nutshell. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw it down in the comments section. As always, thanks for viewing. Please consider liking and subscribing. We put out weekly content. And until next time.